Hello, this is take two. I tried to I tried to record a video to demonstrate the orthographic drawing one more time for those who are not doing very well or maybe be confused. I spent quite a long time on it and somehow it disappeared on me in the cloud again. Anyway, so I'm starting again. I'm going to do in segments, so hopefully that would work. There's something wrong with the Google Chrome memory of this Chromebook I have, and I think that's what it crashed. Anyway, so the first step is I'm going to prepare my paper. Now, you do not need to use the white paper. You can use the paper I gave you. If you're using a grid paper, I recommend drawing on the white side of it for your good copy, not on the grid. So if I'm using the grid paper, I'll put the grid on this side, on the bottom side, but I'm going to draw on this side so my lines will not get confused with the grid, especially that the grid is not 100% accurate. I would use the grid for my rough sketches and so on and so forth. So in order to protect the paper, the corners of the paper might rip. I'm using tape and I'm covering the corners like that. I'm using masking tape, but you can use either clear tape or colored tape. It doesn't really matter. So again, I'm a kind of person that like to have things done very nicely, but at the same time, I don't want to deal with issues if I can prevent them in life. And as I said, these are really things that if you think about it, it really applies to your life. It makes you plan ahead, think about what might happen, what might not happen, and how to avoid things that are unpleasant for you as much as it's in your ability. So there we go. Four corners of the paper are protected with the tape, and you know you're supposed to tape this to the board of your drawing. So I need one straight edge on this corner, and I'm using this small paper, small board, and a small T-square, so it will fit in the area of this camera which I'm using, and I'm using a smaller triangle. When I want to place this in the corner, I want to make sure my T-square covers this whole thing, so you don't have to worry, your T-square is quite big. I'm aligning the top of the paper with my T-square to get a straight drawing, and I don't need to go all the way to the edge. I just need to align the top of the paper, so these two will be aligned, and then I'm going to tape the paper to the board. If you're producing an orthographic drawing as a drafting, as a copy, you're handing it to me, and you're not taping it to your board, you have a loose paper on the table and you're drawing, you really are not doing drafting. So somebody asked, but they're not clear about what's the difference between a sketch and a drafting is that your paper can't be loose. That's one thing. So if you're just drawing randomly, thinking you're using your ruler, thinking you're going to be straight, but it's not going to be straight. So there we go. Now I'm ready to do my drafting. I'm going to stop this video and see if I actually managed to save it somehow. Okay, hello. I'm back. Take two. The first one, preparing the paper, actually worked. So I'm gonna try to do the videos in small chunks and see if I can save them right away or whatever, so we can get going with these things. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. I already have the paper taped on the board. I'm showing you the first page. You should have done your drawing. A lot of you have done it nicely, but it's not bad to have a review one more time. Maybe there are pieces that you're missing and you might use them later. In terms of the drawings, I'm choosing this one. I'm choosing this one because there are more measurements on it, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to be doing this. If you're doing a drawing, my recommendation always, first part, is to first sketch it. Sketch the front up side view of the drawing, so you read the drawing. And in simple drawings, you might not need to do that later on or as you progress through the and become advanced in technical drawing. But it's a good habit because you can refer to it, you can check it, and you can actually get your things correct. So here we go. I'm going to look at this drawing. You'll see the numbers over there. This is 61 centimeters, which means 6.1 millimeters. And let me see if there's a way I can actually, no, I can't change that. I wanted to make this a little bit bigger so you can see better. but I can't. So let me see if I can go closer. There. So I think that is better for you. 6.1 centimeters, 4.6 centimeters. The arrow, when you see an arrow on a 3D drawing, which this is a 3D drawing, this is showing you the direction of your front view. And that's what you have to choose. If you look at a drawing and there's absolutely no arrow, you can choose which is the front view. And I've talked about this before. You can choose any view that you want. Well, there's a rule of thumb, but I'm not going to go there for now. So this is the front view. That means the top view is when you're looking down this direction. And your side view is a pinkish reddish color, this view. That's your right side view. If you choose to do the left side view, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But at this point, we're going to do the right side view because we can actually see more things as opposed to just a black wall over there. So looking at this shape, I'm sketching for myself how would the front view look like. Now, again, as you're sketching, I recommend always sketch in the order that you will be doing your drawing. Front will sit on the bottom. Top would see on the top. And side, which is in this case, this right side, is going to sit on the right side. So looking at this, that's the setup that you want to have for your sketches. Don't do a top here, a front here, a side here. I mean, that might be okay to do different sides and all over the place, but it's kind of messed up. And think about it, you're always going to do well if you have order in place. And this is the order that you're going to follow. Front on the bottom, top on the top, side on the right side. So going back to look at this page, I know the front is going to look like this shape. I have a line there, which is showing that line. I have this line, which is showing that line. And I have this block, which is showing this side. That's my front. I'm going to draw the top sitting right on top of the front because I want to follow that and because I'm an orderly person. And I know that that's the only way you can actually do well in this, at least in this part of this course and probably in life really. Anyway, so that line is representing that line. This back line is representing that, and that. The top of this box, so that's the 18 and 13 that you have over here, the 10 over here, and that's the whole thing. So the right side, moving this a little bit further. The right side, okay, I don't know if it's going to fit in this, so I'm going to bring this camera slightly higher. See if you guys can see better. Okay, there we go. So the right side is going to look like this pink bottom, small box over there, up, slanted, up, and that's how that you're going to be the pink. So front, top, side. You do not need to label them front, top, side. Once you do them in order, it actually tells you what that is. Whatever is here is front, whatever is here is top, whatever is here is the right side. So that's my reference. I'm going to go back and look at it when I want to do my drawing. So here we go. We're going to start. I'm going to be using a regular ruler. And where on earth did I put my ruler? I did all this drawing and I had to put it away because things were not going well with the measurements and with the camera and everything. Okay. Looking at the drawing, you're going to see this is 61:46, meaning that if I go back on my sketch, that is 61, that is 46. You see that in the work, 46 or 4.6, meaning that this drawing can sit in a box of 4.6, 6.1, and that's what I'm going to prepare. So I'm going to start that drawing by creating that box which fits the 6.1 and 4.6. Now I need to choose where to start my drawing. I have my paper on the board. I need to put some gap or margin between around the corners. So when I want to finish my drawing and add border, table of information, I have enough space. So you would be measuring about 1 to 2 centimeters from top and the bottom to create lines. And if you see that I'm actually drawing very thin lines, which means you can't actually see from your screen over there. There will be too light color for you to see. But you see my hand movement, so you know where I'm drawing the line, and I'm going to go back and darken them. But you'll see where I'm drawing the line. Now I'm just eyeballing. One of the things I'm eyeballing is that I'm kind of good at it, so I don't need to 100% accurately measure. At the same time, I really don't mind if it's not 100% accurate, because that's not a requirement that I put for you guys. If I do put a requirement that I'm going to measure your border or your margin and it has to be, let's say 1.65, then that's what you have to do. But I'm never going to do that because I'm not mad, unlike popular belief. Okay, so this is my border. This is a place for my table of information. I'm not going to fill this first. I'm not going to write. I'm not going to darken it. Because what if I screw up my drawing? Then I wasted my time creating this, unless I'm 100% sure I'm going to do an excellent job, which I might not. And even if I do an excellent job, what if I pour my coffee over it? It's all the what ifs in life. So I'm not going to do it. I'm going to start my drawing from a corner. Now at this point, I'm going to just pause this video because I don't want to lose it again. And we'll see. We'll start again. Okay, I'm back and I'm starting the front view. If you remember, the measurements were for the front view 6.1, 4.6, and I said it's going to be sitting in a box. So the first thing I want to do right now, as I do recommend to you all the time, is to time yourself. Think about it. I've heard somewhere from actually people who are very successful that whatever gets measured gets managed. Now, this is what we're going to do. I'm just going to write the number down. That's 12:19. I'm starting to record this, and I am have in mind I'm pausing, I'm talking, I'm taking my time, and I'm explaining. So I drew a line over here. I want to create a box of 6.1, the in 4.6, that the front view will be fitting in that box. Now, if you pay attention to the lines I'm drawing, I'm projecting my lines all the way up, even though you know the 4.6 is going to be quite small. 4.6 is going to be very small. 6.1 is going to be very small, but I'm projecting my lines up. And the reason I do that is that I want to make sure later on I don't have a lot to do. Now, if you find that this way of my working is confusing, well, you don't have to project them. It's just the way I prefer to do stuff. Is it wrong not to do them? Absolutely not. You're going to just spend more time later on completing your drawing, which is fine. If that's your comfort level, that's what you do. All right, so I have a small rectangle over here, very light color, because I don't want to mess up my work. And then I'm going to go back and darken what I need. So 4.6, 6.1. Looking at your drawing, you're going to go back to the drawing. You're going to look at your measurements. You have 10 millimeters here, 10 millimeters. So that's going to be the 10 millimeters going around for that. And then you have the 12 millimeters over here, which means if you look at your sketch, which you've done before, this is 10 millimeters and here is 12. So I already know those numbers. You have it in your paper. I'm going to go and mark them. And 10 millimeters is really 1 centimeter. So there we go. 1 centimeter here. And I'm going to flip the ruler around. I just need 1 centimeter over there. Take my T-square, draw a line. And again, you see that I projected all the way light color to save my time in future. Not that you have to do that. Then I need the 12 millimeter to go down over here from this corner. That's the 12 millimeter. There we go. And I'm projecting them again. So the last thing I need is this tiny cube over there or box over there, which if you look at your paper, your book or your file, which is what you're doing, you keep going back and forth. You have 18 by 13. So 18 to the right, 13 down or up, wherever you start. Make your starting point. So from here, I'm measuring 18, and I need to draw a line up, which I'm also projecting it up. Then I'm going to measure 13 for the height, mark, and 13 for the height. Now, as a rule of thumb, in a normal situation, I would not be even darkening my front view before I finish all my drawing, because then my T-square moving up and down is going to make everything messy. But the only reason I am going back and darkening these, the ones I need, is that you guys can see the shape. You can see what I created, and you can see the process. And if you pay attention, I am moving my T-square from top to bottom instead of drawing one line, going up, going down, going up, going down. And the reason for that is I don't want to make it all smudgy with pencil marks. So you think about, if I move There's a lot of thinking, as I said in this course. You could think about, if I move my T-square triangle all over the place, I'm going to make it smudgy. Also, it's not efficient because you take more time. So again, from this side, I'm either going from left to right, from right to left, but in a particular order. All right, that is going to be your front view. So looking at the time, what time did I start? I wrote it down somewhere. I think it was 12:19. This is 12:23. So it took me 4 minutes to draw that. And that's actually quite a long time because I'm pausing and talking. Front view done. Okay, hello again. I'm doing the top view now. The order is front, top, side. That's how I would do. Would I always do it that way? Most likely, front will be always the first one, but sometimes I might do the side. And it's nothing wrong with going from side to top, but people find it easier to go this way. Okay, so the top view is going to be looking down from the top. I've already sketched it, and you guys have seen me sketch it, so that's a top view. I have my measurements ready, so I already have these measured, and I had drawn. I have them in paper, so all of these measurements and all of these measurements are done. The top view is sitting right on top of the front view, so I already have where it's supposed to be. It's going to be between these two lines, and all of the other lines are already there. I'm going to look at my numbers. What I do need is this width. That's what I need, which is also 4.6 and also 12 millimeters. And then the only difference I have is the 14 over there. Everything else is the same. I have my measurements. So I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to take the ruler and get 4.6. Now, doing that, I did look at the time. It's 12:25 that I'm starting the top view. And the reason it takes shorter is that I already have projected these lines up, meaning I actually don't need to measure again. So that was the reason, one of the reasons that I'm projecting my lines all the way out, light color. I don't need to do it again. That saves me time. And that box has a width of 14 marked over there. There we go. Actually, the top view is now done. How would I go about it? I'm just going to go and darken it with the same philosophy. And really, it's all about the philosophy. How do you approach stuff? Philosophy is really important, by the way. Anyway, so we're going to go back here from top to bottom, darken the lines that I need, and if I do a nice and neat job, I can ignore the lines that I don't need and let them be, which means I don't have to erase them. If I don't have to erase them, I don't spend time erasing, meaning I save time. So see, it's all about the planning. Now, as I told you before, this is done 12:27. So 2 minutes and I'm pausing. From here, I started doing all the darkening the lines. If I had not darkened these ones, it's not my normal practice, once I do all my rough, I will go and darken everything and go down in order, which again saves time. So top view is done about 2 minutes or less, and that's it. Hello again. Apparently the top view video worked as well, so we'll see. Now I'm going to do the side view, and this is something that some people do struggle with it. And it's not difficult, it's just you need to really pay attention and understand what's happening. For the front view, you use two sets of measurements. You use all the widths this way and use all the measurements this way. For the top view, you already have these measurements. You do not need to measure them. If you are measuring these in the top view, you're not really using your T-square triangle. You only need to measure this in this direction and mark and create it. For the side view, you should not be using your ruler. So I'm just going to toss this ruler over the room. No, I don't do that. Seriously. I put it away. I don't need to use the ruler. I'm going to use a 45-degree triangle, and I'm going to use the beautiful hidden rules in geometry to create the side view without measuring whatsoever. And that's the beauty. That's the magic that happens here. Your front view was placed in the box. And that's another reason you did the box to begin with. So this corner is the top right corner of the box. I'm going to darken it so you can see it better. There was a box. No matter what shape you have, I'm going to just draw it here. Your most weirdest shape possible, you put it in a box and you get the top right corner. And that's where you use a 45-degree, okay? Doesn't matter where it is. So please don't start your 45 from here. I've seen some of you start from here. Some of you start from here. This really means that you have no clue what on earth you're doing. You're just drawing a line because the teacher drew a line. In That's not really good. Don't be so obedient. Question. All right, 45 degree. That's my miter line, guideline, projection line, whatever the case you want to call it, but it's 45 degree. That 45 degree line creates intersections. And by the way, I looked at the time. It was 12:30 when I started. 12:30. Okay, so I just have to tell you that you need to time yourself. Please do get in the habit of timing yourself in many things. It helps you get better. Projecting the lines. I want to go back up and project the other line as well. I'm making intersections. Now have in mind, if you have a complicated shape, I repeat, I do not recommend projecting everything and making intersections in one shot because you will be very, very confused. I would do it piece by piece. But this is not a complicated shape, so it's quite easy to have the projection lines. Get the first intersection down. Get the last intersection down. And you're going to come back over here. Your drawing is going to fit from here to here to here to here. That's where your drawing is going to fit in this box. And I do not need to measure anything. Everything I need to be measured, it's already measured. So you see, there's no ruler. I'm not using your ruler. Please pay attention. There we go. That's where my drawing is. I'm going to go back and look at my sketch. That's what I need. One line here, a 45-degree line. How do I know it's 45? I have 12 millimeters, 12 millimeters. These two are equal. That means this triangle is a triangle with 45-degree corners and a right angle. I have this line, that line, that line. Voila, end of story. You're going to go back over here and darken the lines you need and ignore the lines you don't need. And your drawing, you can do it like at the fastest, shortest time possible. So there we go. Again, I went from top to bottom doing the darker lines because I don't want to mess up my work and make smudges. You know, you can't win everything. If you want a nice clean work, then you have to pay the price for it. Either you work very, very long hours, or harder, you become smart and find a way. Oh, please don't.
Leo Farb is in the building.
Okay, there we go.
104. Leo Farb, 104.
There we go. So side view done. This is 12:33, and I started at 12:30, and I actually paused, showed the picture to you. So 3 minutes. Thinking about it, this whole drawing should really not take you more than 5 minutes. Side view done. Okay, thank heavens I have the video, so I will be able to share it with you. I'm not done. Now that my drawing is done, I have my 45-degree. These are all light colors. I do not need to go and erase them. If you do them nicely, you just leave them. If you make it messy, you either erase them or you put another paper on top and trace it again. Only trace these three. You do not retrace your guidelines. They're not necessary for your drawing. I'm going to go back, and now I'm going to darken my border. If you were working for a company or you're doing this with softwares, most likely you will have borders ready for you because the borders contain the table information, and the border will be the design of the company with their logo and so on and so forth. So I'm going back and darkening the border, make it stand out. Don't have a weak border, too light color. It's like having a nice painting on the wall with a flimsy border around it. Granted, some paintings don't have borders, but those are art. This is technical. So please do not make an argument with me on this matter, because I know young people over the age of 2 can argue with everything. And you're way beyond age of 2, so I don't want to argue. Just do as I say, and we're going to be all safe. And this is not a threat, by the way. Don't take it in the wrong way. All right, so border, and that's where my table of information is. So you're going to spend time nicely and actually kind of measure to figure out how you want to space this to have the 7 items that you need to have. What are those 7 items? You should know. It's in your instructions for your technical report, plus adding the scale. So you have 6 items to write as per your top on your header of your tech journal or in the instructions for your tech report, plus the scale. How do you write the scale? You write it very, very nicely. You write with uppercase and you write scale 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1. That means every unit here is the same unit as you measured, or it's ought to be, or you're drawing. You also write your name very nicely. So what you do is that you draw thin lines, very light color, and then you write your name, legible, uppercase. You don't have to be artistic, and write it very nicely and clearly. I'm not doing actually a very good job, but anyway. or you can type them, print them, trace them, or just type the whole thing, or use lettering templates, whatever the case may be. That's your border and tip information. 7 items, which is 6 of them is in your tech journal or tech report plus scale. Now, the other reason I projected my lines further is that if I want to add dimension lines, I can actually use them. See, that's how I do work faster, because I don't have to go and add those lines to create dimension lines. They're already there. All I have to do is to mark them from here to here and then write 6.1 or 61 millimeters. And then again, I have the intersection. I'm just using the slash, and see why I use the slash instead of a dot. You can use a dot or an arrow, but I like to use a slash because I can put my triangle and keep going with the slashes and make it nice and beautiful. Then I'm going to write these numbers. So that was 1 centimeter, that was 1.8, and I don't want to do the math. You do the math. Doesn't really matter. Going back over here, I can measure that and add another line here. The line should be similar, the same distance. I'm going to use my triangle again to mark the slashes. That's going to be 1, 2, and then 1 for that one, 1 over here, and 1 over here, and that's the last one. So you write your numbers over there. So you write them this way, 4.6, and you know this is 1.2, and that was whatever the rest is. I don't know, do the math. 1, and that was, I believe, 13, something like that. That's what you're writing. Now, the other measurements for this one, you can either do it here or here. Either or. You don't need to repeat numbers twice if it's already there for that particular view. So if you're choosing to go up, again, it's pretty fast. So you can see it's going to take you like 2 minutes to add dimension lines. You might need to spend time doing the math on it, but the lines are already there. Drawings would not be very painful, really. They will be quite soothing and meditating if you're doing them nicely. And there we go. And this is where I'm going to add the numbers. Again, 4.6. And what do I have here? 1.2. And then whatever is left over there. So that was 1.4. Then do the math and figure this out. That's not the case over here. So this takes you like 2-3 minutes. All your drawings, really, I give you 3-4 per session. Eventually, you'll be able to do all of them in less than 40 minutes.